Hello, everyone. Nicole and Kaila here, Biz Besties live in July. We're so excited to sit down and chat with you today. We've got the day that you're hearing this, the day that it goes live. We've got a big, exciting day. We're doing some fun stuff and announcing some big things. But before we get into it, Kaila, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for this active lifestyle that I have because we live somewhere that it does not snow very much. I mean, we're up in Canada. I think most people know that who listen to us. And we live in a place called Victoria, which is on Vancouver Island. And it's basically the Hawaii of Canada. It's beautiful. You can surf here. I live 2 blocks from the beach, and I always think like I just got a new e-bike so I can bike around, I go to the gym, all these types of things year round. And if I lived where I grew up or where you grew up, I grew up in Ottawa, which is over New York, and Nicole grew up in Nova Scotia, which is over Maine, basically. It is just so snowy in the winter, and it's cold, and it's humid in the summer. And because we live here, the weather is beautiful, and it really allows for that active outside lifestyle. I'm so grateful for that. What about you?
I mean, I know we're both always grateful for this, but I want to call attention to it today. I'm really grateful for our Align CEO community and how amazing they all are at what they do. Like, just for an example, last night, on my personal Instagram, I shared a couple of things that Align CEOs are up to that like I'm actively participating in. I saw that Ali, who is the creator of the Toddler Kitchen, posted this recipe, and I was like, I'm not a toddler, nor do I have them, but I will be making this recipe for myself. I'm going out and buying the ingredients today. Like, she comes up with such cool recipes, and her videos are so dynamic and like fun to follow along. So if you're not following the toddler.kitchen on Instagram, you want to make sure that you're doing that. And it was so cool because somebody reached out to me who's not in my Align Purpose community and said, I love their recipes. And I was like,
That's
yeah,
fun.
that's so cool. So Ali, I hope you're hearing this. And then also Autumn Fowler Coaching, who does relationship coaching and relationship therapy. She made a post yesterday that I loved, and the coach in me was so into it. It was 10 questions to ask your spouse, like back and forth. And so Jeff and I asked each other them going to bed last night. And it was just like really fun. The second question was, what in your relationship is your most favorite day and why? And I was asking Jeff all the questions first, and then I was responding second. And soon as I read that question out, I was like, I know my day. I know exactly what day I would relive again. And then he said it. It was it was the very first time we ever went to Tofino together, and the very first day we got there. And anyways, it was just like the most magical, amazing day. And he was like, probably that first day, that first time we ever went to, and I was like, he's going to say Tofino. I was like, that's mine too. And so, yeah, it was just really great. And I'm just Amanda doing our photos, and there's just so many. So Island Roots Photography.
Going to Christine's lake house in a couple of weeks all together.
Yes, there's a whole crew of us going to Christine Trainer's lake house. Yeah, I'm so inspired, in awe, moved. I love our community so much.
Yes, so do I. I mean, we could go on and on. There are 50 people in Align CEO Method, so it would take the entire episode to shout out everyone and all the things that we do with all of our Align CEOs. So don't feel left out. If you're listening and we didn't say you, we love you. We're just trying to keep this episode succinct, so it's not a 50 ways you can work with Align CEOs. Although maybe we should do an episode like that.
Okay, that's fun.
Okay, that's fun. Okay, but that's not what this is about.
No, but it's a great segue unintentionally because we're talking about Align CEO Method being the best online mastermind that you can be a part of. Today, we're talking about why you need to be a part of community. And this is not fluff. So if you're like, oh, I've heard community before, I'm turning off this episode.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. We're talking about how you build $1 million brand by building trust with community. You want to kick us off?
Yeah. I mean, we look back from the beginning of My Aligned Purpose. This is very coachy of us. I don't know if everybody's like this, but we love coaching. We love personal development. In November 2020, got together in my living room, had chart paper up everywhere, and we're like, what are we going to do that's going to be exactly what we love and so much fun and bring everyone together? And we came up with the concept of Coffee Club. And shout out to you if you have been around since the Coffee Club days, because I think the first launch, 50 people joined us, and we still know probably every single one of those people.
Oh, for sure.
So we had 50 people in the first launch of Coffee Club, and that was a community where every single Monday Nicole and I would come together live, do coffee cheers, talk about what's going on with the books we're reading, what's happening with people in our community and who we need to shout out and who's launching and what's happening there. We talked about some coaching questions for the week for everyone to consider.
Oh my gosh. I mean, we were just so into everything that the books were about. So whatever we were reading, if the book was going deep on money mindset or deep on money manifestation, we were just talking about all the ways we infuse that into our life and having so much fun with it and always seeing what everybody in the community was up to because, you know, that the chat was interactive. And so, yeah, it was amazing.
That was one of the best parts for sure, is that we'd say, hi, tell us if you're here, tell us where you're calling in from on the Coffee Cheers chat. And we get people from all over the world tuning in and saying hi. And that was a paid membership model, just so that everybody who's listening, if you're thinking, how can I apply this to my business? We didn't have a massive audience at the time, and we still thought to ourselves, okay, how do we want to show up? And then what price point are we going to put on that so people take it seriously and also show up? And that was an evolution. That started in 2020. We did that for 2.5 years of every single Monday. We showed up from airports, from Italy, from Regina, from Portugal, from Paris.
I swear you probably showed up from the hospital room with Mila.
I know, yeah, totally. I can't remember, but we made it happen on Coffee Cheers. So we did Coffee Cheers for 2.5+ years. And then we thought, okay, we really want to build aligned CEO method. It's like all the work that we put into Coffee Cheers and the offers that we built off of hearing what people need from that. We knew that our year-long coaching container is really what we wanted to go all in on. And we were splitting our focus too much. So we decided, okay, we're going to build this kind of deep connection and community within Aligned CEO Method and then help people build their own $1 million brand within the mastermind.
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest differentiator, I suppose, looking back and even thinking about looking forward about where we're going and what we're doing and especially for those of you listening, thinking about, well, how do you market like a free or low price point community? And then how do you market a high ticket offer and how do people decide which one they want to be in? And we just made it really obvious. Like this is community connection, which who doesn't want community connection in the low ticket offer? And if you want to learn how to build your business, well, you've got to hire business coaches, business mentors, put yourself in paid masterminds. And that really is the differentiator. You and I don't go deep into coaching, or we didn't go deep into coaching in Coffee Club. It was a fun, interactive way, which we think and we know is really important. And it was the cornerstone of us really building trust with people. Like I think about this past fall of 2024, we hosted an event at Quench here in Victoria, an in-person event, and it was called Building $1 Million Brand. And it was also our signature talk at She Leads, Building $1 Million Brand. And we said, you know, the simplest way to understand how you build a multiple 6, multiple 7-figure brand is thinking about the level of trust that you are building with people. And Coffee Club at the time allowed us to build so much trust with people because we were consistent. We showed up, like you just said, at the same time every week. And so for those of you thinking about building out community or a club or whatever it might be, you really want to think about what you can commit to, because you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. If anything, you want to underpromise and overdeliver and give surprises and delights. And that's what we're all about, which again comes back to us building everything, putting it through the 3 filters of our values. So our top 3 values in My Aligned Purpose are connection, freedom, and generosity. So does this allow us to connect with people, build community? Yes. Does it give us a sense of freedom? Yeah, for sure. We could take the calls anywhere we wanted. And could it allow us to be generous? We still are, but in Coffee Club, oh my gosh, you get a book and you get a book and you get a coffee mug and you get a gift certificate.
I think we spent more than 50% of what we earned on that membership, on that product, on the people who were in it. And also we continue to do that with maybe not the same percentage, but with referral fees, with making sure that our clients feel special and valued and have those above and beyonds. But we were literally giving out Starbucks cards and books like all the live long day.
Yeah, left, right, and center.
That was basically a whole role that someone could have come into the business and take on. Like, can you please make sure that this certain segment of people is recognized in this way? That, making people feel seen is absolutely how you do it. So these are the three things that we want to make sure we highlight in terms of building community for you. If you're thinking, how can I do this in my business? Or how do I want to make sure that people know that I'm going to deliver on my promises? One, like you said, show up consistently. So pick a time and pick a day of the week and do it the same time and day of the week, every single week or every other week or every month. Regardless, it doesn't matter. You set the schedule, but do it consistently. And the second thing is give in a way that makes people feel seen. Not just like randomly giving a Starbucks card. I don't know why you do that randomly, but let's say not giving someone something for the sake of giving, but for what will really make them feel seen. For example, we're reading a book and someone says, I really want to go deeper into this other topic, and we know a book that's going to help them do that. We would gift them the book that's going to help them do that. We'd ask them, do you want it paper or Audible? When we gave out Starbucks cards, we said, okay, what's everybody going to get? And the Starbucks card thing related to the topic of coffee club. The whole thing about Coffee Club is that we would come together and cheers our coffee. So if we're going to treat people, we treated people with a coffee, a tea, a frozen beverage, whatever they want to buy at Starbucks. But that helped keep the theme going.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the third thing is networking and sharing. And this is where I think we're so good at being different than everybody else on the internet, is that whatever you are selling in your business, whatever you're really good at, we want you coming to our calls and coming to the Facebook group or wherever we're hosting our community at this time. Like we have a WhatsApp chat with Cashflow. We want people to know what you do and what's for sale. So either everybody else can buy it, or if it's not for you, then you can share it with someone who you think it might be for. We want you to practice promoting your business in a safe space, to be able to be seen and for people to be able to work with you. That's the whole point of everything. That's the whole point of life. Like, let's say you have a pizza place on the corner and everyone loves your pizza. You're not going to go to an event and say like, hey, I was going to talk about how I could bring my pizza truck, but like I'm a bit shy about selling my pizza. If you had pizza to sell, you'd be showing up and making the pies for everyone. So we want that to be the same with every business that everyone has.
We're not about gatekeeping. And I find that cagey energy so off-putting.
Weird.
I find it so off-putting. Even just thinking about the people who are kind of like secretive or in their dance around, like who they work with. Like, I've been so loud and proud about the coaches that we work with, not having this fear that because they're also business coaches, that if somebody in our audience hears me say how much I love working with Chris and Lori, that they're going to be like, well, I don't want to work with you anymore. I want to work with Chris and Lori. Like, I don't have that lack mentality. And I think there's like such an air of just like lack or scarcity in the coaching space specifically, of people who are like, they don't want to say who they work with or what masterminds they're in. They're like, I was in this mastermind, I was with this coach, and this is what I learned. It's like, give credit where credit is due. Credit the author, credit the podcast host, credit your coach. Like, let people know where you got this information from. I mean, I find the cagey energy is just, incredibly off-putting.
You know what I heard recently on an audiobook that I didn't know, but then I heard you say it on a podcast and I thought, oh, I've got to circle back to Nicole and tell you where the quote came from so that we can, and maybe everybody heard it on the podcast, on the My Line Purpose podcast recently. So this is the long-winded story about giving credit where credit is due. So I've been studying funnels, and Natalie Ellis from Boss Babe has tons of good funnel resources. And in a podcast that she did about funnels, she said she learned her funnel skills from Russell Brunson. And I had never really paid attention to Russell Brunson before. So I got his book, Traffic Secrets. Okay. And then I started reading Traffic Secrets. And in Traffic Secrets, he says that in his first book, Take the Stairs, he said, success is I don't know, whatever, a sore master or a hard master or something like that, you have to show up and pay for it every day. For the most part, we all try to give credit where credit is due, right? Like we try our best, and we know that ideas are always circulating and coming back and going out and all these types of things. So we try, and we want you promoting your business and sharing and letting us know when you have something for sale so that we can help you get connected with the people who want to buy it, who it's appropriate for. Okay, the thing that we do that's different with our community is that Nicole and I are trained coaches who understand how to facilitate conversations and networking, and we will help you work through that process. So we've been in lots of courses. We're always keeping our eye out on the coaching industry, and we buy stuff to see what other people are doing and also to learn and grow, but to do our research to say, okay, if this program is offered, for example, for $2,000, what are we going to get out of it? And we've been in communities so many times over and over again where the content is delivered and maybe there's a call, but the connection piece isn't there. And the connection piece is marketed like it's going to be there, but it's just not facilitated in a way that we're connected with people who maybe relate to us on whatever level we're on, whatever we want to talk about. And also, there's been so many times where I want to share something that we're working on, that we're selling, to ask for referrals and connections, but that's explicitly inappropriate. Like people who are leading the community say, you cannot share. This is not a sales pitch. You can just show up and learn. And I feel like the two-way conversation that we make sure happens in our community is so important. We want people showing up as they are, loud and proud, and practicing talking about what you do. Otherwise, the only time you talk about it is like under this high stress, high pressure situation.
It kind of makes me think like, well, if people want to continue to operate that way and not allow their people to share, all right, then the more the merrier. Welcome in anything My Line Purpose does, because that's why people refer us and keep coming back and love being in our community, because they're like, oh my gosh, I just connected with this person, or me and this person are going to do a collab, or I'm hiring this person, or this person just hired me. And it's like, yeah, all of that's made available because we literally say, drop your link. What's for sale? How can people work with you? Actively support our community to practice selling, one, and two, to expand their network with other like-minded individuals. Where else are you going to enter a room where it's all other people who have incredible offers or products, services, whatever for sale, and you all get to like shop one another? You don't have to buy from everybody, but perhaps you're looking for a gut health doctor who works with constipation and you've been dealing with IBS for however long and you're in cash flow right now, then you're going to get to meet a doctor who's inside of cash flow, whose specific niche is working with people who have constipation. Like,
Yeah.
you're that level of like, oh, that person's speaking to me. Yeah, you can go out into a sea of Instagram and whatever and try and find it. Or you can come right into our community where people are actively, I wouldn't even say selling, actively inviting you into how you could potentially learn more from them and work with them.
Yeah, I mean, the key thing here is that that's not something I suffer from. So I'm not going to buy that. And that's absolutely okay. But if that is something you suffer from and you want to solve your problem, and you have this trust because you see this person showing up and working their business and sharing testimonials and being loud and proud about what they do and how they help people, you're naturally going to be magnetized to that. And it works both ways. We were shouting out Allie at the beginning of the call, and Allie talks about food for toddlers. And I have 2 of them. And so I'm magnetized to learning from Allie. I want to know what she's doing over there to cook up the most awesome toddler food and make them special treats. I got to make those ice cube tray chocolate peanut butter things. I'm going to make them this afternoon.
Me too.
The kids are going to be so excited about it. And yeah, and that's a gift from Allie. And I can work with her. I've been in her programs because I want to learn more about feeding my kids. And so we encourage you to pick and choose and go with what works for you or don't, but share each other's work so that you have a friend who has IBS or has toddlers or has someone who needs business coaching. And this is networking. We've got the network of people who can help you solve your problem, who are in integrity, because otherwise you wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
That's how it goes.
So this episode is going to be released Thursday, July 10th at 3 a.m. PST, 7 a.m. Atlantic. Maybe you hear this and for some reason you're not registered yet to the Mind Movie Workshop happening today, Thursday, July 10th at noon. We have well over 100 people. I don't know how many at this point, but well over 100 people signed up, excited and ready to make their mind movies. But what's even better than that is Kaila and I are going to be announcing something that we have been brewing up, like that little pun there, brewing, like coffee.
Brewing. I get it. I was like, witches? We're witches.
We're both swaying here. We've
I
been
don't get
brewing something up. We are not becoming a coffee roastery. Don't get any ideas.
Absolutely not.
But something so big and exciting that has been in the works in a really messy draft for a long time, at least, gosh, I don't even know how long, since last fall. Yeah, last October, it has been brewing. And the reason that we haven't moved forward on it until now is because we didn't want to rush something that we weren't sure how this would all unfold. And we still don't have what the unfolding of this will look like over time. Like, that's not laid out perfectly, but we know that what we are about to share with all of you is going to be the most fun, party vibe, social gathering situation, behind the scenes look at something that you've ever seen on the internet.
Yes. So come to the Mind Movie Workshop. You're going to be the first to know. Mind Movie people are getting the big announcement today, Thursday, July 10th at noon, 12 p.m. PST. You can sign up myalignedpurpose.com/movie, and you're going to get the pre-work, which you still have time to do if you listen to this in the morning. And if you don't do the pre-work, that's okay. We'll just move forward when you're on the call. Come and join us at noon. And if you want the replay and you hear this too late, then just send us a DM on Instagram and ask for the replay, and we'll send it over.
Absolutely. All right. Have a great week, everyone. We're so excited to share this exciting news with you. We're so grateful that you listen to our podcast. If you've not yet already went to Apple and subscribed, make sure that you do that. That way there you'll never miss an episode. And especially if you go to the settings on your phone and turn on your notifications, then every Monday, every Thursday, and most Fridays, you'll get a little icon that pops up on your home screen that says My Aligned Purpose released a new episode. And that way there you're getting your weekly dose of mindset content, your weekly dose of behind the scenes of business building with us, and then not weekly, but pretty often dose of hearing from other incredible guest experts that we bring onto the show. So make sure you do that. And if you've not left a rating and review, then we'd also appreciate that. Or you can go update a past review if it's been a little while.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Bye.